What's up, guys? Today I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to do a tramp cast, which it's a pretty easy trick. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get like the main idea of how you're supposed to use your hands on it, it becomes really easy. So I'll show you the steps as to how I got the trick, and I'll show you guys just basically how you can easily get this trick because it's not that difficult. All right, so I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to do it on my Horizon, since it's the only tramp I have without a net, which will make it easier for you guys to see my tech. To start off, I'll just show you guys what like my tramp cast looks like just on average. I'm not gonna land it because landing it's actually really difficult, but this tutorial is just good if you want to make a tramp cast over, take it to stomach or something. So this is just like normal tramp cast, and there's actually two ways to do it. You can do the ball out to your hands to tramp cast, which looks something like this. And then the easier way to do it, which is probably best for anyone who's beginning to learn the trick, is just going straight from your knees to your hands without the motion of the ball out. Okay, those weren't the best examples. I kind of just came outside. I haven't warmed up or even done a trick besides those, but you can see I can still do the trick very easily. So to start off, what I did, I learned this trick like almost 2 years ago, but what I did to start off was I would just go from my knees onto my hands and back to my knees and try to increase pressure on my hands just to build up wrist strength, because at first my hands would just crumple on me. I would go to tramp cast and it would look like this. So to get around that problem, you can start small, but just work on going from hands to knees to hands to knees and getting that strength down and getting more comfortable with using your hands on the tramp, like this. You can get as little or as much height as you want. It's up to whatever your wrists feel. It might hurt a little bit on your wrists at first, but it's just really getting used to it because it's not using your feet, you're using your hands, which is kind of weird on a trampoline. But when I learned it, I basically spammed knees to hands for about 15 to 20 minutes on my tramp just to kind of build up the repetition and the strength. And as you continue doing it, you can keep getting a little more height. Try to get your hands stronger. It's more of like getting used to the motion. Okay, so once your hands feel decently strong, and maybe you can do like to your back, like you can prep, something like that, you'll be just about ready for learning the tramp cast. What I do for my tramp cast is you really need to let your hands ride down and then come back up on the tramp, because if you just place your hands and try to go straight from there, you won't get any height. It'll look something like this. Or if you don't pop off your knees at all and you don't do any of the wrist training and you just go here, it just doesn't work. You have to use the trampoline to your advantage. When you put your hands on the tramp, let your hands come all the way down with the tramp, and as the tramp's coming back up, that's when you should really release. And I find that the further you dive forwards on your hands from your knees, the better rotation you'll get. However, you won't get as much height and you might go back a little. But if you go like almost in a handstand to like this point on the tramp cast, what will happen is you'll get a lot of height, but you won't feel yourself rotating because it's hard to snap your legs. So basically, find a balance in between those two, something that will get you, you don't need amazing rotation on this, but something that will get you good enough height to where you're confident that you'll make it over, and good enough rotation to where you're also confident you'll make it over. Example, if you're diving too far, it might look like this. It'll make you rotate, but you won't get that much height. And then I already showed you the handstand type thing, which will get you good height, but not rotation. What I do is I ride the tramp out. I find that medium between diving and going straight up. And once my hands come down and up, I sort of snap my legs just like a normal castaway. And I pull my legs through and just tuck pretty tight. And you should make it over. So like, a key for this trick is really just spamming the hands to knee motion, because the more you spam it, the more comfortable you get. You'll kind of automatically just get a feel for what works for you, and from there the tramp cast really won't be that difficult. When you push off your hands, you want to pull your feet almost through where your hands were. So like when you come down, you want your feet to come through like here, and then you just really want to tuck in pretty tight. And luckily this is a trick that's so low to the ground that it won't really hurt if you land on your head on. So trial and error is pretty safe for this trick. You can't really go too wrong with it. That's really all there is to it. As you do the trick more, like I said, it'll just become more natural and easier. Work on that wrist strength when you're first starting, or that wrist resistance to the tramp, and just make sure that you're riding out the tramp when you take off. That's really important. Honestly, I don't think tramp casts with a lot of height really work better because they kind of just buckle at your elbows or your wrists. So I wouldn't recommend getting a lot of height into your tramp cast. Keep it at like a moderate level. You also don't want to get too little height to where you can't really use your hands on the tramp because they won't sink down enough. The main problem that I see with people doing tramp casts is that they're trying to pull their legs through their hands too quick, and they snap too quickly and they don't let their hands right up the tramp. And that way you won't get any height and you'll have no chance of making it. To conclude, for a clean tramp cast, you just want to start off by building that strength on your wrists. You want to find that point in between too much of a handstand like here and in between too much of diving like out here, because neither of those will work too well for you. You can still make tramp casts over like that, but it's just harder. And then you need to practice not snapping too early as it will cut all your height. What I usually think when I do tramp casts is just you're sort of using your arms like you would use your feet on a tramp, where they come down and once they come up, that's when you really jump. It's the same with your hands. They go down into the tramp, they sink. And then once the tramp starts coming up, that's when you can really snap and pull your legs through. When I do this trick, I don't really bend my arms at all when I go onto my arms. I sort of leave them like here, decently straight. What happens is I bend down onto my wrists, and that's the wrist part, but that's what makes it easier to really take off and get that height that you need. All in all, once you've practiced and mixed these things, tramp cast will be a pretty easy trick for you. Yeah, I'll do one more for you guys with all the tech that I just talked about so you can see what it looks like after knowing what you should be doing. That's basically it for this trick. It's really not much more than repetition and just practice. So if you put your mind to it, you could honestly probably get this trick within the course of like an hour or even less. It's just the main problem is that people snap too soon and they just can't get the height for it. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. In conclusion, tramp cast isn't really that hard of a trick. If you just put your mind to it and follow these steps, it shouldn't be that hard for you. Leave a comment if you want me to do a different trick tutorial, and hopefully I'll do it. Any popular tricks in the comments, or popular tricks in general that you guys want, I'll try to get done a tutorial for. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. DC Guardians out!